Hi everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal video. I'm recording again in real time just because I am a little bit short of time before heading off to Australia. So I'm going to play in my Art by Marlene journal that she released recently, and I'm going to use one of these really big faces from in here. And my plan is to do a girl with floral hair, which is my idea. Right, so I think I might use her. I might even go bigger, I'm not sure. So I think one thing that I love about these elements, particularly ones like these, is that you can completely change them up if you want to. There is one that's bigger. I mean, I could use her instead. Shall we go really big and use that one? Let's save that for something else. Because obviously this journal is a nice big size, so I can always cut her down. But what I'm thinking I want to do, and I might even do this over a double page spread, because I was thinking I wanted to work on one page, but I think let's go a double page and make her go over 2 pages. And I'm going to cut, I think I might cut her hair off. And then I'm going to hunt down as many flowers as I can find. Or do we just cut it so that the hair goes over here like that? And then we can use that as our backdrop. Okay, so let's go in with some colours on the background first to start off with. So I'm going to grab a nice... I need to clean all my paintbrushes. They are crunchy. Oh, that's a nice big one. Let's use that one. Okay, let me just get my apron on. And then I stand a chance of not covering myself in paint. Okay, so I think I want to make a really, really bold background, bold and colourful, and I might knock it back with white after and some stenciling. So I think I'm just going to start off with a slightly damp brush. So there's no gesso on the paper. As you can see, it's grabbing that paint. If I gessoed, I would be able to move the paint around a bit more easily. So by adding a bit of water to my brush, because I've not gessoed, it means it's going to be a little bit easier to just pull the colours around on my page. And I need my colours to go right into the spine. Okay, so that was Ho Ho Ho. I'm just going to wash that off there, and then I don't really know why I dried that off actually, because I need water, don't I? Oh dear. Okay, this is Hot Curry, another of my favourite colours. In fact, I do love all of Marlene's colours, they're lovely. And definitely the colour challenge that she ran, I can't even remember, was it April? May? No, March. In March was a great way to explore some of those like kind of less used colours. I certainly discovered a few new favourites, or colours that I thought I really need to use these a bit more. Okay, so I'm going to wash that off and then just take a bit of the excess water off. This is cheesy. This is definitely my favourite yellow. I think I'm drawn to those warmer tones of any colour, obviously. I just think I like them. Now I'm mindful that my face is going to go here, so I don't need to worry too much about covering kind of down here massively. And I can always come in after and add more colours. And I'm going to bring more colours in and overlap a bit as well, so it'll all work nicely. So I'm going to use Kermit. So one of the things that I like is a nice bright green, and there isn't particularly a really bright green in Marlene's range unless you use the neon. So I'm going to use this one, which is Kermit, and I might then go in and add some flashes of another green as well, but we'll see. I mean, I think that works okay. It's just maybe not as vibrant as I would normally use. It's going to curl. Okay, it's coming together nicely. Let's try a bit of glow over the top and see what that does. Oh wow, glow and Kermit, that's quite a nice combo actually. I'm not really I don't really use neons an awful lot, but certainly for something like this, just for adding a bit of a pop to a lighter shade, they are quite a good option. Yeah, I quite like that green. It's certainly a bit more punchy than it was. Okay. So then I want a blue. Let's go with Mermaid, because it's a little bit more turquoisey in tone than Sky or Smurf. They're quite bold, and I do love that kind of turquoise tone. That is deciding it's not going to come out. So I don't think this is generally a problem lots of people have with their paints, and I think it's because of my studio. The temperatures fluctuate quite a lot in here, so it doesn't really stay at a steady temperature. So I'm just going to pop some of this blue on. Okay, let me just make sure that I've covered mostly where that... Okay, so we need a little bit more down there. So I'm okay, I can go in with a little bit of pink. Because that was blue, I'm going to stick with not washing my brush. Just pick up a little bit of water. I love this. This is Kissy. I absolutely love it. I think it's my favourite pink. It's up there with that Amsterdam acrylic one that I'm always blathering on about, and Dina Wakley's raspberry. Okay, we just need a little bit of pink there just to balance it out. So a lot of this is going to disappear anyway behind stenciling. And then I'm just going to go in with a little bit of purple. Purple, or shall we go that one? Let's go this one. This is fuchsia. I'm just going to find a couple of places where I can pull a bit of this in. Just kind of smoosh it around a little. Now, I kind of firmly believe that often journal pages go through that phase where you're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? This has all got away from me. But one of the joys about mixed media is that there are so many different ways that you can pull it back. So if you're looking at this and thinking, this is bonkers, there's a lot of colour going on there. I haven't left any white space, but it doesn't matter because I can come back in and add white space to my page. So I'm just going to plug my heat tool in. There we go. Give this a little dry. And then a nice way that you can knock back pages like this is to use pastel shades over the top. So, you know, things like peony, lavender, heaven, even breeze. I'm going to use those and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So now I'm going to look for a stencil. And I'd quite like one with a fairly small pattern. I think this is one of my favourite ones. This is one of Marlene's older stencil releases. When I say older, I mean as in, I think it came out this year. It's not that old, is it really? So I'm going to use my fingers. It's a great way to get a kind of softer look with spreading the paint around. And before it dries, because it's drying quickly, I'm going in with the baby wipe. I've squeezed the excess liquid out of this. Look at that. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Let's do the same over here. Quite often there are techniques that I come back to again and again, and this is one of the ones that I love. So I'm actually getting all my fingers involved here. Smooshing that paint around. Okay, so that was breeze. No, that was heaven. This is peony. Pretty colours. And what these are going to do is just push that background away, because it's quite full on, it's quite bold. I mean, I love those bright colours, they don't scare me at all. Well, I know that they're not everybody's jam, and I think if you didn't want to use these pastel shades, you could just as easily go in with some white and knock it back. You could also brayer some colour over the top. You could brayer some white over. That would give you a totally different feel as well. In fact, once I've got these bits on, I'll brayer some white on and then you can see. And I'm not going to brayer it everywhere. You can see how that would also work. Unless, of course, I get to the point where I really, really love this and think, I don't want to. Right. Oh, hello. What are you doing in there? Okay. Oops. So the end has come out of that one. A little bit down here and then put that lid back on there. So that's breeze. Really pretty pastel shades. And you can see I'm moving quite quickly because it is very warm in here today, and I don't really want the paint to dry too much before I can get in with the baby wipe. And I'm using the same stencil. You don't have to, you could use a different one. And as this dries, you can see how it's created a bit more softness on some of those colours. I'm still managing to use the same baby white. Now, I think if I was using bold colours, I'd probably have had to change and get a fresh one, but because these are nice pale colours, I'm not needing to do that. Okay. That's better. Okay. So that's knocked it back a little bit, hasn't it? Not a massive amount. Okay, I'm going to go in now with some white. Get a little brayer. I didn't clean that very well yesterday, did I? Tiny little brayer here. Needs a good clean, that one does. Okay, so I'm going to put a bit of white out on there, and then I'm going to collect some on my brayer. And I want as much of an even coating on my brayer as possible. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is just come in and just pull some white over the top. I'm going with a bit more. I kind of like that. So I'm doing it in a line so that it's easier for me to pick up with my brayer. And you notice that I'm not going like that because then I'll only pick up the paint in one area. So I'm pulling it, pressing quite lightly on there so I get a nice light coverage. Going with a light layer, you can always add more. It's more difficult if you're going with a really heavy layer, unless you're getting quick. And of course you can go in with a baby wipe and lift it off, but you've got to be very careful. Okay, let's do a bit more. I like it. I like how that's building. So the more white I put on, the more that's going to push the background away. So some of these areas like here, where it's still quite bold, I might just go in with a little bit more paint. Alright, so can you see how that's knocked that back? Alright. I am liking how this is coming together. So I'm going to grab my glue and I'm going to stick my focal image in. And what I'm going to do here, where you can see there's this bit, I'm going to try and blend the hair through so it flows a bit more onto the centre of the page. This is the Art by Marlene sticky glue. I was going to pull some of this around the edge of my focal point. I'm going to push it as close as I can up to the border, the centre, the spine, that's what it's called. Do the same over here. Oh no, that's going to be there, isn't it? Come on, Claire. Okay, then I'm going to get a really small brush and then just come in here and just see if I can find these colours to blend this through. I think it might be, yes, mermaid. So let me grab my palette. So the only reason I'm doing this is just so it still flows across the page, because at the minute there's a bit of a break, isn't there, with the holes in the middle. So I'm just going to pull this down all the way, and then I'll go back over the top with some other darker colours. Okay, nearly there. I mean, as you know, if you've watched any of my other videos, I do enjoy trying to match up collage papers. I think it's a really fun challenge to see if that's almost like purple. It is. That's royal. Let's get a little bit of that and see if I can continue some of these lines, because I can always bring it over onto the collage as well, like that, and then it's just going to flow a bit nicer. There we go. It's starting to come together. And then we need like a nice blue. What's that? Is it? I think that might be sky. I can go with some white as well in a bit once this is all nice and dry. So just by adding these marks, it just means that those lines that are on here have somewhere to go and they don't just end. So, and of course I can put some of my own in. Think about that. Why don't I do that too? And I don't need to worry too much because I am going to cover some of this with flowers anyway. To find as many flowers as I can. Okay, quite happy with that. I like how that's come together. Let's give her a little dry. Nearly knocked my water over. Oh, Lola, sorry, did I scare you? I scared myself as well. Right, so I think I'd quite like to bring some stenciling, more stenciling onto this background. I want to find a stencil that's got a slightly bigger pattern. I might use this one. This is hexagon style. So it's in the same sort of theme as the one that I used before. And I am quite tempted to use lavender. Let's do that. Let's put some out. Grab a sponge. I'm just going to spritz it with a bit of water. Okay. Working quite nicely. It's not super obvious, but I do quite like how subtle it is. It'd be nice to come in with some little pops of a different colour perhaps. Put that back in there. Just having a look, see what else I can find. All perfect. What power? What about some kissy? What I think I might do is dot some flowers around the background. Maybe have that one just going off there. And then I can come in and add more details to these flowers using paint pens. Although, to be honest, I have nearly run them out. I've used them so much. Oh yeah, that works. I like that. Let's do 3 over here. Maybe like that. And 3 down here somewhere. That would work nicely, like that. There we go. Like. Okay, let's put those in the water. Okie dokie. Right then. So in lots of Marlene's books there are strawberries. There are flowers that she has drawn. So what I'm going to do now is just spend a bit of time collecting different flowers in different colours that I can put in this girl's hair. I do love this little mouse. So cute. So cute. I have a little drawer as well that's full of flowers I've taken out of other of Marlene's die cut books where I've used quite a lot of them and I've got odd bits left. So I have kind of been and collected them all up. Maybe some strawberries would be cute, wouldn't they? Ooh. I mean, I wonder if I can use that somewhere. Let's get it out anyway. Butterflies. I don't think I need butterflies in this one, or houses. And it's good to have things of different sizes too, just to kind of mix it up a little bit. So there's a lot more interest going on rather than having things that are all the same sort of size. And I do quite like that as well. Let's see if I can I use that? That's a nice big one. Let's have that one. And that. I might even have enough now. Okay. Strawberries. The strawberries seem to want to be in there. Let's hide a strawberry in there. I feel as like they want to get in on the party. Right, I've got this drawer that's also full of flowers. So, I mean, do we go something like that? I'm just going to start sticking them on. Oops, that's annoying. I'll put that one there. Let's put some of these bigger ones down here, like that. That might be too big. Oh, I like that one. I'm just going to tear those little bits off there. So I kind of like that that's a bit of a different shape. Right, this is going to go through a phase now where it's going to look a little bit weird. But once it starts coming together, it'll be absolutely fine. This is a really fun way to play. So, you know, I'm not having to draw anything. I am simply using Marlene's designs and creating something new. So you just need to be able to kind of think outside the box a little bit and think, okay, so what could I do with this? Now, I don't know if I can fit all of that under there, so I'm just going to snip a bit off, and then I might use that other bit down here like that and put another flower over the top there. Now I'm going to need some way in a minute to pop this out from the background, and what I'll do is go in with probably some sort of Stabilo oil pencil, not some sort, I will just go in with a Stabilo oil pencil and add some outlines, which I might water activate, I might smudge, we'll see. At this moment in time, I don't know. It's time for a strawberry. Where should we pop that? Should we pop it there? Yeah. We'll place spot the strawberry. This would be cute, wouldn't it? Flowers for hair, except for the bees that might come buzzing around me. I'm not very good with buzzy things. Now, I'm going to have to find a way to get them through the spine so that continuity is still there. Gosh, I'm going to need more. I thought I'd got enough. Okay, let's find some more. Oh, that's a nice one. I like that pink one. Green rose. You're cute. You can go there. Let's put that one there. Okay, I'm going to need some really small flowers now, I think, to go. Let's have a look at the very bottom. Oh, we could pop some leaves coming out. Might be quite a nice way to bring a bit more movement. If I've got any more. There's another one. I need something for there, don't I? There's another leaf. Let's put that over here somewhere. Oh, I love that seed head. That would be nice, wouldn't it, coming out of there? If I can make this work, let's see. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, this is crazy. Crazy cool. I love it. I'm just looking for some slightly smaller flowers and maybe leaves, more leaves that I can pop on, but I don't want them to be too big. And some of these die cuts have got like a white edge on them. I don't really want any of those because none of these have got a white edge on them. It's just going to make them stand out too much if I use something like that. What happens if I do that? Will that work? Ish. If I can't snip that bit off there, then I'm going to take it out. I don't think I can. Ooh, let's get it off. That's okay, that works. And then I think I might just pop a leaf down here. Okay, she's looking crazy. Right, let's pop all these flowers away. I don't need those anymore. I think I've got quite enough going on here. So, let me just sharpen this pencil. She's very definitely the focal point on this page. My background definitely needs more going on in it. I think I might come in with some more colours of flowers. That might be quite nice. But what I do need to do here is to just bring an outline around these flowers, just to pop them out from the background a little bit. If I want to, I can go in and with a water brush and water activate it. That will just soften this edge. I am pressing on quite hard, so it would end up being quite a dark line. Stabilo All pencil is fabulous, but it is quite pigmented. So if you press on hard, you'll get a very dark shadow. If you don't want a dark shadow, once you activate it with water, you can go in with a paper towel or a cloth and blot it, and it'll lift some of that pigment off for you and stop it being quite so bold and in your face. But I think I don't often go all the way around. Quite often I'll only do a shadow on one side, but I think this maybe needs it. So I'm just going to quickly pull my brush around, and I'm going to let the Stabilo All do its own thing. I'm going to worry too much about whether I've activated all of it. You see, once the water hits it, it just kind of softens it a little bit. And if you just want to be quick, you just literally just pull your brush over it like this and just let it do what it wants, let it go where it wants. Perhaps not giving her a beard is a good idea. That's maybe a little bit too careless. Never mind, we've done it now, so we'll leave that. It's a little bit of a shadow. Perhaps she's got a 5 o'clock shadow. Right. There we go. I like that. Another way that you can pop this out a little bit is to go in with a white pen and just start to add some white details to some of your flowers. So you could give some of them some dots in the centre or little lines on the petals. Just will, because of the contrast, it will draw more attention. You can also go in with a black and do the same thing, or even some colours, and just brighter colours on them should also make them pop out. Although there is quite a lot going on, so you might not feel that that is something you want to do. Remember, we're not going for realism. This is play and fun. And if you don't like it, it just means you've not thrown enough magic at it yet. And that's okay. Okay. Yeah, I like how that's coming together. So, let's grab the mark making stamps that Marlene released recently. And I'm going to go black. I'm going to just grab a small acrylic block. If I can find one in my... Yep, there we go. Oop. So, honestly, not safe to be allowed all these arty things, arty joyous things to play with. Like stick my finger in it. This is a great stamp for adding kind of grungy detail. Now, I don't often use a whole stamp like this. Quite often I would kind of just hold it in my hand and stamp with it. But you can see I'm not inking up carefully, and I'm stamping a few times, just so that I get like almost some sort of paler, what might be called ghost stamping. What else? Let's go with this one. This is a massive acrylic block for this stamp. These are quite directional, aren't they? So I'm going to do them in blocks of 3. I'm going to do them coming in from the edges. So what they're going to help do is draw attention to what's going on, not around the edges of the page. They'll lead your eye in. One thing I think that's great about this journal is that you can do double page spreads if you want to, but I rarely would you put something slap bang in the middle. Quite often I would put them around either one side or the other, and of course this journal lends itself really well to that, because it would be quite difficult to get that face in the middle of the page. So it means that your page is going to be quite nicely balanced in terms of where your eye really wants to look. Okay, so there is this kind of grungy mark. I'm not going to put that on. Let's just see what this is like. I think I might quite like this one. Smoosh. Ooh. That's like a smudge, but on purpose. Yes. So just by adding a little bit of stamping, that has livened up that background a lot. and I want to go in with some words in a bit, but first of all I want to do something with these flowers. So let me just adjust my position. Pen. This is a Uniball Air. And what I think I'm going to do here is just come round and outline these like this. And then I might add some more colour to these. And I'm going to make the centres of them, I think I'm going to make them yellow or maybe white. Perhaps. Okay. Same up here. So I think this page does need some white. Let's see. Let's go up to this one here and just... Oh yeah, I think white's going to be best. I'm kind of colouring with the paint. I'm gently squeezing, popping a bit in the centre. Yeah, that's nice. That works. And then on some of the petals, I'm just going to add some little white marks. So those little bits that I've just painted with the paint tube are going to take a little while to dry, but that's okay because it's quite warm. So then to bring a bit more contrast, I'm just going to go in with some bigger dots using my Posca pen. This is a PC7M. It's massive. I call it my chunky Posca pen. It's great for this. Like, I'm using the shape of the nib to create those marks, and you can see how this is helping with drawing your eye into the page, and it's lifted it as well. We've got that little bit of extra contrast. So now we need some words. I'm thinking I want to use something from this. Create time just for you. It's a little bit lost, isn't it, on there? Happiness isn't about getting, it's about enjoying all you have. That's very true. Don't worry about getting older, you're still going to do dumb stuff, only slower. That is very funny. Yes. I think I'm going to actually... tempted to put that down there. I don't think this whole adult thing is going to work out for me. Not every day may be good, but there is something good in every day. Find extraordinary joy in ordinary things. I would like that, but in white. I like that one. Have I used it already? Let's just tip them out and have a look. I maybe need to put, I maybe need to put these in something easier, don't I? Something easier to manage. Okay, so we've got a couple of quotes for this. Create time just for you. I'm going to pop that down here because doing that helps you do this. And I don't want to cut those up too much because they're already quite small. This is quite a big page, but I think even using small quotes on big pages can work, because what I can do is, using my black pen, is I can go around these and just make them a bit, almost a bit bolder. Like that. There we go. Okay, so that is this journal page using Art by Marlene's lovely die cut elements. I hope you've enjoyed the video. It's been a long one. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.